You're watching ABC 13, Houston's news leader. Live with Alicia Rivas, Samika Knight, David Nuno, and meteorologist David Tillman. This is 13 Eyewitness News, Houston's news leader.
Spacewalk Saturday, you're taking a live look at NASA TV, where the first in a series of spacewalks to fix a cooling system is set to begin in just a few minutes.
And double shooting, two men are shot inside a car in southwest Houston, but only one of the victims survived.
Plus, it's the last weekend to shop before Christmas, and this weekend is the perfect time to score some of the best deals, believe it or not. And good morning, everyone. I'm Sonia Azad in for Samika Knight.
And I'm Christine Dobbin. Alicia Rivas has the morning off. We'll have those stories and more in just a moment. But first, we want to check in with meteorologist Casey Curry. She's in for David Tillman this morning. She's a look at our weather. A lot going on locally and then I guess nationally as well for a lot of travelers.
It's true. Huge travel day today, as you guys know, all across the country. We've got some problems here close to home as well. We'll touch on all of those issues, but first let's start to local. We'll take you out to Houston and also to Galveston. Galveston still dealing with fog this morning. We do expect these visibilities down on the island to improve pretty quickly this morning, though. Winds are shifting more southwesterly, which should help you guys out. Temperatures are super warm, though, feeling like spring. Today is actually our first day of winter, begins later this morning. 70s out there now. We've even got some spring thunderstorms to go along with it. Mostly light scattered showers closer to Houston, but north and west of town, closer to our frontal boundary, we are seeing some strong storms with lightning and some brief heavy rain. So far, no severe weather technically out of any of those. We're going to have to watch for damaging winds when that front swings through the Houston area today. We will quickly drop in temperatures. Areas like College Station are already down in the 40s. We'll talk more about the severe weather threat. Let's take a look at the national picture. That's coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Casey. With the potential for severe weather in the forecast, now's the perfect time to download the free ABC 13 weather app. With the Follow Me feature, you stay safe when you're on the go, since our app is going to alert you to severe weather wherever you are. All you have to do is go to the App Store or Google Play to download it for free. Our top story this morning, a risky emergency spacewalk set to begin in just a few minutes to repair the International Space Station.
The last time an astronaut stepped outside the hatch, he nearly drowned when water leaked into his spacesuit. NASA claims that problem is now fixed, but we want to take you now a live look at NASA TV. You can see that spacewalk getting ready to take place. Today's spacewalk is the first of 3 designed to fix the cooling systems which keep the space station from overheating. Now this morning, the spacewalk would begin in just a few minutes, 6:10 Central Time. NASA veteran Rick Mastracchio and spacewalk rookie Mike Hopkins will spend 6.5 hours trying to fix the cooling system. And this will be the first spacewalk for Hopkins, who will be wearing the same spacesuit that Luca Parmitano wore when he almost drowned in orbit in July. Spacewalks were suspended after a full gallon of water leaked into Parmitano's helmet, filling his ears, blocking his vision, and nearly robbing him of his oxygen supply. A terrifying malfunction, and you can see happening again when the suit was retested. Now the last-minute MacGyver-like fix, 20-inch snorkels fitted inside so the astronauts can still breathe through the tube if that water does leak in again. Equally low-tech absorbent pads velcroed inside the back of their helmets as an early warning system. And if that pad feels, quote, squishy, astronauts are told to alert Mission Control immediately.
We train hours, days, weeks, months, years for this very thing.
The nail-biting mission is only part one of a second walk. It will happen Monday. If they don't finish, a grueling third spacewalk will take place on Christmas Day. And our coverage of the spacewalk continues all morning on Eyewitness News and ABC News. Once the hatch on the ISS opens, we'll bring it to you live on air. We'll also have a live report from the Houston Space Center coming up in our next half hour. And our live coverage on today's mission continues on Good Morning America. GMA starts right here at 7 a.m.
All right, new this morning, a double shooting in southwest Houston ends with 1 man dead, another in the hospital. The entire crime may have been caught on camera. Both men were shot around 10:30 last night on Havendale near Sherburne. Neighbors told police they heard 5 or 6 gunshots. A man stumbled outside of the car after the shooting, but died from his injuries on the sidewalk. The other man was taken to the hospital. It's not yet clear if this was a random shooting or if the men were targeted. Officers hope a nearby surveillance camera might be able to help their investigation. A game room in Northeast Houston is out of business today after a late-night raid. Precinct 1 deputy constables shut down the Patron game room on Airline near Bunkin around 11 o'clock last night. Our cameras were there as deputy constables seized several machines from inside that business. Deputies didn't reveal what led to last night's raid, and it's unclear if anyone was arrested.
We have new information this morning about a woman found shot to death inside a home. Now, police tell us they have now made an arrest. Officers tell us they found the suspect not too far from the woman's home on Vindy near Arnage. He was allegedly holding a shotgun when officers found him. The police say he surrendered peacefully. That man is now facing murder charges.
Residents who use the White Oak Bayou trails are on high alert after a female jogger reported an attempted sexual assault. This happened Thursday evening on West TC Jester near the Watonga Bridge. According to the report, the woman was jogging a short distance behind her husband when a man grabbed her leg from behind. And she managed to break free from his grasp and run away. Police say she may have been distracted by the music she was listening to on her iPod. Officers say this could make her and others more of a target.
I wouldn't come out here in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week by myself. If she wasn't here, I wouldn't be walking here.
This year, nearly a dozen police reports have come from the same park, everything from car break-ins to indecent exposures.
We have an update this morning on the H1N1 outbreak. Harris County health officials have confirmed 3 men were killed by the virus, and officials say the men died between November 28th and December 9th. They were between the ages of 45 and 53 years old. The Texas Department of State Health Services issued a statewide alert for H1N1 yesterday. The virus is widespread in Texas, and now the Centers for Disease Control is working with health officials to contain this outbreak. Those who are concerned high risk, such as pregnant women, children, are all now being urged to get vaccinated.
The most concerning thing, especially if they're very young, is that they may develop complications from the flu.
Harris County health officials are urging doctors not to wait for the test results. They say go ahead and prescribe antiviral medication if an at-risk patient seems to be infected.
A 4-year-old boy is being called a hero after saving his entire family from their burning apartment in Southwest Houston. Early yesterday morning, Rolanda Gray says her son Jamil was up waiting on his dad to get home. She says if it weren't for him rushing into her room, she would have slept through the entire fire.
We was asleep, and he was up, and he came running in my room, "Mama, mama, mama," and I popped up, and then he led me in there. And then when I seen all that fire, I woke up and we got out.
One apartment was destroyed. 3 others had minor damage, but thankfully everyone got out safely. The cause of that fire still under investigation. Time now 6:08. Can you believe that 4-year-old little boy? Thank goodness he was there.
It's amazing.
Alerted his mom. He knew what to do.
It's so, I mean, he's really adorable. We saw some of his longer interviews where he's just talking away, you know, no ignoring that little one, that's for sure.
No, definitely not.
So a little active out there already this morning. No severe weather to talk about just yet, but we're on alert for the possibility for damaging winds later on this morning. That's our bigger severe weather threat. We're also still dealing with some fog out there as well. Let's start you off in Galveston. This has been a big problem out there over the last 24 hours. We have seen some improvements. This time yesterday, you couldn't even see these buildings. So visibilities now have come up quite a bit. We're starting to see the winds become a little more out of a direction that will be favorable to getting rid of some of this fog. Right now, visibility is at 2.5 miles, 67 degrees on the island. We are still seeing temperatures closer to 70 as you head inland. 73 right now up at Bush Airport. Southerly winds at 7. No problems with fog for most of our inland locations. Here's your weather headlines. Stormy weather out there this morning. We are likely to see at least a few stronger cells, dangerous lightning, some gusty, possibly damaging winds, even some brief heavy rain and the possibility of an isolated tornado. But the biggest threat will be that wind damage. We may see some gusts close to 60 miles per hour before we're through today. The cooler air starts to move in today, but we've got a stronger push of cooler air that moves in tomorrow. Here's live Megan Doppler 13 HD, and you can see that the shower activity that's out there now, at least close to Houston and Galveston, very light stuff. This is all passing showers, just enough to kind of get the roads a little bit wet, mostly tenths of an inch as far as rainfall amounts. New Caney, you've got a pretty good little cell near you, one up to 290 and up 249 this morning. The stronger cells, though, are much further to the north and west, between Madisonville and College Station. Even a few lightning strikes here, Navasota, back down towards Hempstead and Brenham, also some lightning strikes. These are packing more of a punch, but they are not reaching severe levels just yet. Current visibilities in miles. The fog is really pretty much confined to the coastline for the most part. I want to show you this huge temperature drop, though. We're in the 70s closer to Houston. Behind this first front, temperatures have dropped into the 40s, so College Station sitting at 48. That's more than 20 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. And we'll continue to see several pushes of cool air over the next 24 hours to help bring us to temperatures that'll feel a little more like the holiday. Southerly winds closer to the coast, but we're starting to see that push out of the north behind that first front. We do have some gusts this morning that are pretty strong. These aren't thunderstorm wind gusts. These are just regular wind gusts at 39 miles per hour in Port Arthur. So the wind will be our biggest issue early today. We do expect to see some drying by this afternoon. Early high temperatures in the 70s, but we will quickly drop into the 50s. And it looks like we're going to stay mostly dry once we're done with this morning as we head towards Christmas. Back to you.
All right, Casey, thank you. Well, it's the last shopping weekend before Christmas.
And now could be that perfect time to shop. From extended holiday hours to all the big discounts, I'll tell you what you need to know before hitting the mall.
And before we move forward into 2014, we're going to take a look back at the best viral lists of 2013.
And as we head to break, we want to take another live look at NASA TV. Today is the first of 3 spacewalks to fix a cooling system on the ISS. Well, the hatch is now open, and spacewalk rookie Mike is wearing the white suit. NASA spacewalk veteran Rick Mastracchio is wearing the suit with the red stripe. I'm trying to see it there. I think I can barely see his feet maybe. Today's spacewalk is expected to last more than 6 hours. It's 6:12 and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Eyewitness News. You are taking a live look at NASA TV, where 2 American astronauts are conducting critical repairs on the International Space Station. Today's 6.5-hour spacewalk is the first in a series of spacewalks designed to replace a faulty piece of cooling equipment. Astronaut Rick Mastracchio is a seasoned veteran, while his partner Mike Hopkins is on his first ever spacewalk. Several factors, including a scary spacewalk in July involving a water in a spacesuit helmet, have combined to add some extra drama to today's repair.
Well, starting next year, sex workers in Canada will have an easier time doing their work. Canada's Supreme Court has struck down all current restrictions on prostitution. The court said the restrictions, which include bans on brothels and on street solicitation, are unconstitutional because they violate the prostitute's safety. The Parliament still has the ability to come up with a better way to regulate the sex trade if it chooses. An activist group also in Canada are armed with coal for Toronto Mayor Bob Ford's stalking. Earlier this year, Ford admitted to smoking crack and several other, quote, naughty things. Protesters outside of City Hall say for every piece of coal pledged, $1 will be given to a local charity. The group is hoping to collect 1 million pieces, but so far they've got about 5,000. Well, this morning, President Obama is headed to Hawaii. He and the first family left the White House last night to start their Christmas vacation. But before his departure, he held his final news conference of the year to defend his health care plan. The president admitted Obamacare has not worked the way he wanted it. The rocky rollout actually caused his approval rating to hit its lowest level ever. But that did not stop the president from defending the law, saying 1 million people have signed up since October 1st, including 500,000 people who signed up in just the last 3 weeks.
Bottom line also is that we've got several million people who are going to have health care that works.
But problems persist. Shortly before his press conference, and just a few days before another big deadline, healthcare.gov was down again. Monday is the last day to sign up in order to guarantee health care coverage. It will be in place for the start of the year.
Home for the holidays is turning into a holiday travel nightmare this year, since yet again the nation is covered by severe weather, ice, and snow. Airports are overflowing with people waiting on their canceled flights to be rescheduled. Roads are not only covered with ice and snow, but now they're being covered with debris from cars spinning out of control and slamming into each other. A little closer to us here in Houston, we're looking at the threat of tornadoes as well. And this is the last weekend for all of you procrastinators to get to the mall and try to find the perfect gift. Here's ABC's Paula Ferris with some tips on how to get the most bang for your buck.
Stores are in an all-out war for your business with just 5 days till Christmas. Some retailers open around the clock, catering to those late-game shoppers.
So you like to wait till the very last minute?
I don't like to, it just kind of happens that way.
These next few days are four of the busiest in the holiday season, with an estimated $51 billion to be spent. And our retail expert, Mark Elwood, says you're the one who benefits.
This is the most desperate I've ever seen retailers.
Tip number one, you've waited this long, hold out.
On December 24th, there is going to be a panic among retailers to offload whatever they can before the scrum of after Christmas sales begins.
And retailers continue to price match. Just make sure you ask for it. Tip number two, to find the best online deals, install Price Blink to your browser. It scours the internet for the best prices. That's how we found Christmas favorites like Wonderloom bracelet kits for $12.88, nearly $10 cheaper than a competitor. And a Canon PowerShot for $129, $50 below list price. And finally, don't be afraid to negotiate.
Are there any coupons today?
15% off coupons today.
Okay, great. Is there anything else that it can be combined with?
Our bargaining expert, Tori Johnson, showed us how it's done, going undercover.
So it's $25, but I'm paying $5.44.
Price, hello, holiday deals. Paula Ferris, ABC News, New York.
All right, some good tips. Another way to keep your cash in your pocket, choosing credit over debit. Analysts say credit is the safer choice since, according to the law, if a hacker gets a hold of your credit card number, you have to only pay $50. But if they get your debit card number, you could be liable for up to $500, depending on how long you wait to report it. Experts say credit card fraud also takes less time to resolve.
Well, Target is apologizing to its customers affected by one of the largest credit card breaches ever to hit a U.S. retailer. The retailer is offering all customers a 10% discount this weekend to try to make up for losing thousands of credit card numbers to hackers. Now, Target says not everyone who used credit or debit cards were involved in the security breach, but to spread the holiday cheer, everyone will still get that discount. Well, the year is almost over, counting down.
I can't believe it. It flew by, but before it ends, we want to take a look back at some of the best viral videos of 2013.
And we want to give you a live look at NASA TV. Today is the first spacewalk in a series designed to fix a problem with the cooling system on the International Space Station. The first time astronauts have stepped out of the hatch wearing new spacesuits after an astronaut nearly drowned back in July when water got into his helmet. We'll continue to monitor the spacewalk all morning. And now we want to turn it over to Casey Curry with a look at your forecast.
Good morning, Christine. So no severe weather out there just yet for us, but we're on alert for the possibility of not only some scattered showers and storms, but possibly some severe storms. Our biggest threat today will be damaging winds. We could see wind gusts later this morning, close to 60 miles per hour. We'll get you an update on the stormy weather possibilities. That's coming up after the break.
Time now is 6:22, and we want to check in with meteorologist Casey Curry. She's monitoring the weather. Probably a lot of people staying in Houston this week, and others getting ready to leave town as well.
It's true. Busy travel weekend. Lots of problems around the country, and we may even have our own problems here before we're through this morning. So things are pretty quiet for us right now, but we're monitoring the possibility for some severe storms later this morning. The greater severe weather threat is just off to our east into Louisiana, Arkansas, and parts of the Tennessee Valley. For us, a slight risk area, primarily for damaging winds. greater tornadic threat further off to our north and to our east today. But here's what we're looking at. We're continuing to watch not only this first front. This is what's going to move through early today and help bring us that chance for severe storms. But we're also going to watch this next front. This will move in early tomorrow morning, and that's what's really going to cool us down significantly. Today, we'll watch the severe weather potential from Houston all the way up into the Tennessee Valley. And again, we may see some brief heavy rain, some damaging winds, and even the possibility of an isolated tornado. But again, that greater tornadic threat will be further off to the east. As we look here at the big picture, much of the state, in fact, much of the region, seeing at least some scattered rain showers. We don't have any severe weather to tell you about anywhere near Houston. We're also watching areas just to our north, major icing event stretching from Wichita Falls to Oklahoma City, all the way up Tulsa to Springfield, and then back towards St. Louis and parts of Illinois. So this is going to cause a huge mess travel-wise across parts of the southern plains before we're through today. Here's where our front is sitting right now, just off to our north and to our west, already moving through areas like College Station and Brenham. And there is a big drop in temperatures behind this front. Ahead of it, we've got 70s, 73 here in Houston, very warm, very muggy. Back behind it, temperatures have dropped into the 30s. Amarillo at 30 degrees, Austin at 46. So it's going to be a quick temperature drop today. Here's Future Track. This is computer model forecasting. Shows us clouds and precipitation. As we get through the noon hour, notice that we're pretty much done with the heavier showers and storms by noon. We'll keep a few showers going into the early afternoon, but then once we hit late this afternoon and certainly by tonight, we begin to dry out, and that secondary push of colder air will move in tomorrow, and that will really help clear out our skies. Plenty of sunshine Sunday through the early part of next week. In addition to the gusty winds today, we may have to watch for some brief heavy downpours. Most of the computer models are giving us ½ to 1 inch amounts, not out of the question, especially north of Houston, to get 2 to 3 inch isolated spots of rainfall as we head through this morning. Temperatures today, warmest now. We'll drop down into the 50s before we're through. We're mostly in the mid 70s now. Scattered showers and storms, very much a likely scenario for us today. Once again, our biggest threats will be those damaging winds. We may also see the dangerous lightning, brief heavy rain, and then much cooler air starts to move in tomorrow. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Casey. It is the end of the year, believe it or not, and you know what that means. It's time for some lists.
Screaming goats, monkeys in a snowsuit, and the best practical jokes. Well, those are just some of the things that are making Jeannie Mo's best viral list of 2013.
'Tis the season to be listing. From the 23 most breathtaking science photos of 2013 to the 9 social media hoaxes you fell for. Like the twerking girl pretending to set herself on fire video circulated by Jimmy Kimmel. We should be screaming from all of these lists. Still, how can you resist the 21 most cringeworthy TV news moments?
What is wrong with you? Good night, Lawrence.
Usually we try to escape ads, but not the ones that make it onto a year-ender list.
You can ship your pants right here.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Any excuse for a list will do. The 28 most ridiculous celebrity face mashes combine Sarah Palin and Honey Boo Boo, Kim Kardashian and Chris Christie. And what's with the random numbers? Why 32? Remember the days when a list was something on paper that you took to the grocery store? Now, instead of bread and milk, there are even lists listing the best lists. Jonathan Mann, known as YouTube's Song a Day Man, is singing his list of top viral videos.
All the viral videos of 2013 that briefly held our attention. Kai, the hatchet guy, and this Russian meteorite.
But the video that gets his goat with lists ranging from the top 10 Miley moments to the top 10 Harlem Shakes. It's hard to pick a clip of the year, but Jimmy Kimmel tried.
Monkey in a snowsuit.
Alas, Monkey in a Snowsuit didn't win. Scared Boss did. And as the Scared Boss came on the show to accept the award,
Jake Dale, JT Jumanville.
It's been a crazy year, but if you think it's been crazy for you, wait till you see how nuts it was for the amorous cows that made it to #1 on the craziest dash cam videos. Holy cow! Not only were they not hurt, the male was ready for more romance. She's definitely at the top of his list. Jeannie Mo, New York.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, I like that prancer size. Is that what
The
it's called?
prancer
It made me
sizing.
laugh really hard when I saw it.
I can't get over the Harlem Shake. I still love that.
I can't keep up with all of them.
Shakes.
Well, this morning's top stories are coming up next.
All right, including a double shooting in Southwest Houston. We're going to tell you why the victims were literally sitting ducks for the shooter.
Plus, big changes for the way we travel right here in Houston. A new Metro rail line opens this morning, and the Grand Parkway is also going to be less congested.
And as we head to break, we want to take another look at NASA TV, where 2 astronauts are performing a spacewalk. It's the first spacewalk since July, and the goal here is to repair a cooling system on the International Space Station. We're going to have more on today's mission coming up when we return.
First in HD, this is 13 Eyewitness News this morning.
Good Saturday morning to you. I'm Sonia Azad. Samika Knight has the morning off.
And I'm Christine Dobbin. We'll get to our top stories in just a moment, but we're going to check in with meteorologist Casey Curry. She has our first look at our forecast. In for David Tillman. Good morning, Casey.
Hey, good morning, ladies. So we're watching the possibility for strong to severe storms later this morning. Right now, not much in the way of severe storms anywhere close to Houston, but we do have a few wet roads and some fog out there. Feeling more like spring, even though today is our first day of winter. Winter officially begins later this morning. Here's your temperatures, all 70s out there. Cinco Ranch at 72, Sienna Plantation also 72, but just off to our north and west, we already have temperatures that have dropped into the 40s. You'll notice on Live Meganopoly 13 HD, close to Houston, close to the coast, nothing but just kind of light showers moving through. Stronger storms up around Madisonville, stretching back towards College Station. So we do still expect some stronger storms before we're done with this morning. Temperatures will be cooler as well as our front swings on through. We have another front that'll move in tomorrow that will bring us even colder temperatures. We'll talk more about the severe weather potential in just a few minutes.
For our top story, a risky emergency spacewalk to repair the International Space Station.
Right now, 2 astronauts are performing the spacewalk, and this mission is considered high risk since the last time an astronaut stepped outside, he nearly drowned when water leaked into his spacesuit. ABC News reporter Mike Betcher joins us live from the Houston Space Center with more. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Christine and Sonia. I'm inside a mock-up of the International Space Station at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, and this is the airlock module that the astronauts were in an hour ago when they exited the spacecraft through a hatch and taking them into the vacuum of space and out to that robotic arm and out to the unit that they're going to have to replace, which is a pump that is about the size of a refrigerator. It's bulky and could take up to 3 spacewalks of 7 hours each to fix that unit to make sure that the cooling system on board the ISS is indeed working. Now, as you mentioned, one of the main concerns is that spacesuit that the helmet began filling up with water back in July during the spacewalk by an Italian astronaut. NASA officials believe that they do know what is causing it. They're still not 100% sure, but as usual, NASA has come up with an ingenious fix for the problem. They've put what is essentially an absorbent pad, a diaper, so to speak, to the back of the head inside the helmet that will absorb water droplets if they begin to form in that helmet. And then they've run a hose, it's about 20 inches, that will run from the mouth down to the bottom of the spacesuit. That way they can breathe air without moisture from the leg area and avoid sucking in water, which could cause you to drown. It's claustrophobic enough with those space helmets on. So right now they're out, and there's some beautiful shots from space as they're working to disconnect some of the quick release valves, hooking this pump to the space station. They've got the replacement pump out there, and as I said, this will take a couple of more spacewalks. Sonia, Christine?
Mike, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, but we understand that one of these astronauts, astronaut Mastracchio, is sort of the veteran here, and Hopkins is the rookie. Is one leading the other, or do they both sort of go into this together?
Rick Mastracchio is scheduled to lead the first 2 spacewalks, and if there is a 3rd spacewalk, Michael Hopkins will lead that. Now, you can tell the difference between the two as you're looking at the screen. Mastracchio has 3 red stripes on his suit and there are no stripes on the spacesuit of Michael Hopkins, but it will be led by the veteran, Michael Hopkins did not think that he was going to be able to do a spacewalk in his time in the space station, and we are told he is incredibly excited that he is able to go out into space and to do this. And speaking to other astronauts down here at the Space Center, they're all jealous. They want to be up there doing
You never know what's going to happen and what can come up.
Quite a surprise for him. Mike, thank you very much.
Well, our coverage of the spacewalk continues all morning right here on Eyewitness News and ABC News. Good Morning America will have the latest on the spacewalk as it enters its second hour. GMA starts at 7 this morning.
All right, on to other news this morning. A man is dead. Another is in the hospital after a drive-by in southwest Houston. Police say they found both of these men inside a vehicle on Havendale at Sherburne around 10:30 last night. There were several shell casings in the street. Neighbors say they heard about 5 or 6 gunshots before the men were found. Police are looking at surveillance video now to try to get a glimpse of that shooter.
Well, sneaker enthusiasts are getting geared up for a shoe frenzy today. The new Air Jordans are being released today by Nike. The Retro Gammas are an updated version of the Air Jordans from 1995. Now, all stores are warning everyone who wants a pair to beware of the frenzy that happens every year. And last year, one of those frenzies was so bad, 22-year-old Joshua Woods was murdered for his pair. His mother, Daisy Williams, says Nike creates the insanity by releasing just a few sneakers. The limited number drives up demand, and fights over the shoes have resulted all across the country.
I just want to make it safer for your child, for my child, to purchase shoes and not lose their life over them.
Williams started Life Over Fashion, which is an organization dedicated to stopping violence at these limited edition release events. 3 people are in jail charged with capital murder in this case, but they have yet to go on trial. Now, Nike has not responded to our request for comment.
A teen is behind bars facing charges after dozens of cars had their windows shot out earlier this month. 18-year-old Steve Young allegedly admitted to the shooting in the Woodlands Heights area. Police say at least 30 vehicles had their windows and windshields shot out by a BB gun earlier this month. They say after a huge outcry from the public and some help from neighbors who saw the vandals in the act, they were finally led to Young.
I had some homeowners that were outside and actually heard the BB guns being shot into the vehicles, and they were able to look at what vehicle actually did it. They were actually able to see him sticking the weapons out of the window.
Police say they're still looking for Young's accomplices.
Well, the region's largest public transit provider is about to get bigger. That is, if it doesn't get rained out. Metro will be opening its highly anticipated 5.3-mile North Line rail today. The train will be giving free rides as part of the grand opening that's being held at Moody Park. The extra rail line will make getting around a lot easier. Metro is still working to expand its Red Line, which is already a 7.5-mile light rail line.
And the Grand Parkway is also getting a little less congested. A new segment of Houston's third loop that links Katy to Cypress is expected to open today. The parkway is still under construction. Developers want to join all of the segments of the loop to the Woodlands in a few years. By April, there are expected to be at least 4 new ramps at I-10 and the Parkway. And that is a welcome sight, I guess, and
Absolutely.
It'll be welcome for all those people who make that commute. I'm one of them.
So you will benefit.
Yes. Meteorologist Casey Curry is joining us now. Casey, if we haven't shopped yet, let's just say some of us still have some shopping to do.
Theory. Do you know anyone in particular?
Just hypothetically. I mean, do we wait until later this afternoon, or might it be a little
I would wait.
touch and
I mean,
go?
if you can wait. You know, but if it's one of those where you're going to an indoor mall, go early and just spend the time inside. You know, park in the underground structures and move on, you know, with your day,
Yeah.
you know, if you can do that. But if you're going to be just kind of out and about, I'd hold off a little bit. Right now, things are okay. We do expect things to get worse in the next few hours, though. Storm Prediction Center has put most of southeast Texas at least in a slight risk area for severe storms. We're going to watch for that potential over the next few hours. Not only of some dangerous lightning and brief heavy downpours, but really damaging winds will be our bigger threat. Just off to our east later today, a moderate risk area, and that's pretty impressive for this time of year. In fact, today, first day of winter after all, to get that that moderate risk area for strong to severe thunderstorms and possibly some tornadic systems again. Here's the setup for today and even into tomorrow. We've got this first initial front that will be moving through early today. That's what's going to bring us this push of possibly severe storms. In addition to that, we've got another front tomorrow. That's what's going to cool us down and dry us out. So it's this storm system today that will bring us the rain. This one brings us the much cooler temperatures. So here's what's happening right now. We've got a few scattered showers and storms close to Houston. You've got to head further north and west, though, to actually get a few lightning strikes and a few stronger cells. Already our front is making good progress. Parts of the Hill Country, College Station, Brenham, you're down in the 40s. That's behind this initial first front. In addition to that, the Storm Prediction Center has let us know that they're monitoring this area outlined in red. So this is well out of the Houston area. For parts of the Hill Country and parts of the Edwards Plateau, northern parts of Texas, for a possible watch. And we think this will be a severe thunderstorm watch because the bigger threat here in this area will likely be some large hail. Up to the north of us, though, areas like Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, up towards Fort Smith, Arkansas, Springfield, St. Louis, even up towards Chicago. This is ice that's coming down. Ice storm warnings in effect for many of these locations. Here's a closer look live, Meganopolis 13 HD. Not much in the way of real heavy rain. We do have some wet roads out there. Take it nice and slow early today, but these are the storms that concern us a little more. Tons of lightning strikes here from Crockett to Madisonville, all the way down towards the Hempstead area. There are no severe storms out here just yet, but we're starting to see some gusts getting closer to 30 or 40 miles per hour. So damaging winds, the lightning, some brief heavy rain, that's going to be the trend for us this morning. We are warm now in the 70s. We will quickly drop into the 50s. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Casey. Coming up later this morning, the Duck Dynasty battle reaches new heights.
Plus, one cemetery is not in the holiday spirit. We'll tell you why family members have been banned from leaving holiday decorations on grave sites. It's 6:42. We'll be right back. Well, families in Albuquerque are upset after a funeral home tossed out Christmas decorations left on the grave sites of their loved ones.
Albuquerque's Mount Calvary Cemetery says every Wednesday they go around and clean up the graveyard. During this week's cleanup, several decorations were removed. But it wasn't to be mean, it was simply so workers could build new graves.
Oftentimes, there's so many decorations within our cemetery that it restricts our equipment to be able to get to and from certain areas within our cemetery.
This weekend is the first time the funeral home will allow decorations on the graves. It says these rules have been posted on several signs and flyers for weeks to prevent decorations from getting in the way. A pastor in Missouri isn't letting anyone get in the way of his holiday cheer.
Well, he has stuffed his home full of Christmas trees, 111 to be exact. Jerry Powell says he has them everywhere, including the bathroom. Some of them are 9 feet tall and some are just a foot tall. And he says he's not crazy about the trees, but he's crazy about what Christmas Day is all about, the birth of Christ. He also says it takes about a month to box them up when Christmas is all over. Good thing they're not real because he'd have a lot of watering to do.
Yeah,
every day.
that's true. And putting them away is always, you know, the tough part.
It is. And then the fun's over.
The fun is over. All right, the Duck Dynasty battle has reached a new level. Coming up in What's Hot, we'll tell you how some fans of the show might have crossed the line.
And you're taking a live look at NASA TV, where 2 American astronauts are conducting critical repairs on the ISS. Today's 6.5-hour spacewalk is the first in a series of spacewalks designed to replace a faulty piece of cooling equipment. Astronaut Rick Stracchio is a seasoned veteran, while his partner Mike Hopkins is on his first ever spacewalk. Several factors, including a scary spacewalk in July involving water in a spacesuit helmet, have combined to add some extra drama to today's repair. But as of right now, NASA is not reporting any issues on the spacewalk. We'll have continuing coverage when we come back.
Topping What's Hot this morning, the battle over Duck Dynasty. This morning, the fight between fans and A&E Network has reached a whole new level.
Well, the network claims it has received death threats since it suspended the star and the family patriarch of the show for comments he made about gays and African Americans. It all started when Phil Robertson was interviewed by GQ magazine and asked, "What in your mind is sinful?" He said, "Start with homosexual behavior and just morph out from there. Bestiality, sleeping around with this woman and that woman." He also compared gays to terrorists and said that African Americans were better off in the days of Jim Crow. Then new video surfaced this week of Robertson delivering an anti-gay speech back in 2010 at a church.
They are insolent, arrogant, God haters.
Robertson's family is rallying behind him and released a statement saying, "As a family, we cannot imagine the show going forward without our patriarch at the helm." And while critics continue to point out Robertson's interpretation of the Bible is wrong, others are defending the self-proclaimed Bayou Bible thumper's right to speak his mind.
His supporters are refusing to duck and cover online, and we've received hundreds of comments on our Facebook page. Abby says, quote, "He's free to express his beliefs and opinions. A&E knew exactly what they were getting. He has never wavered in his beliefs."
And Julia says that Phil was free to speak his opinion and is, quote, "only in trouble with his employer," no different than when advertisers drop an athlete for doing something they don't agree with.
And Shauna agrees, saying his comments were, quote, "against company policy. And like everyone else in the country, if you violate company policy, you get reprimanded." Of course, you can add your opinion as well by joining the conversation on our Facebook page. Well, Howard Stern has a very unique Christmas card this year. We wouldn't expect anything less.
Well, here it is. He's actually dressed up as Mrs. Claus. His model wife, Beth, is Old Saint Nick. Well, the gender-bending card isn't that big of a surprise, seeing as Stern is a shock jock after all. The back of the card has a second picture where Howard and Stern are in more traditional attire.
Now, the ABC 13 AccuWeather forecast.
Time now 6:51. Casey, did you guys do anything fun for your Christmas card this year?
We didn't do one.
You're busy.
I'm always so busy that I love getting everyone else's,
Right.
but I'm never one that like actually sends them out. I send out gifts, I just never get around to the card. You know, it's always, I always figure I should do like a New Year's card.
Yeah.
Because that's about how behind I am.
I do an e-card.
Yeah, or an e-card, there you go.
Basically an email.
There you go. But I do love getting them. I love those big long Christmas letters that people send.
Yeah.
I know some people don't like that. I want to hear every
I
little
like it too.
brag away.
Yeah.
I like seeing it. So big travel day today, one of the busiest of the entire year. We've got some problems to tell you about this morning. So far, there are no major delays, but there are some locations that we will be watching, not only for severe storms, but also wintry weather as well. Let's take you there to the map where you can see that we've got some locations that are seeing ice already, from Chicago to St. Louis down towards Oklahoma City. So areas like Chicago, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, we'll have to watch for icing problems. As we move into the Dallas and Houston areas, we may see delays later this morning because of thunderstorms. So they're definitely going to be watching a few spots out there. Ice storm warnings in effect for central parts of Oklahoma. Winter weather advisories, winter storm watches and warnings all throughout much of the plains and into the Great Lakes. We've also got some locations in the west that are also experiencing some snow. And white Christmas for lots of folks, especially about the northern two-thirds of the country. Heavy snow up to several feet of it into much of the northeast. We're talking maybe half a foot for areas like Kansas City with this system. And in addition to the cold, we've also got severe weather. Storm Prediction Center's got southeast Texas in a slight risk area. Greater threat for tornadic storms for the areas shaded in orange. Those are the locations we'll watch for the greater severe weather potential. For us today, just keep that umbrella handy. We're watching the possibility of not only scattered showers and storms, which are already starting to move in, but we may see some damaging winds, some dangerous lightning, and some possibilities of small hail as well. Temperatures will be dropping. We're very warm now in the 70s. Back to you.
School playoffs brought to you by Greater Houston Honda Dealers. Cars you depend on, dealers you trust.
Friday's trip to Indiana confirming what we already knew about the Rockets. They are a long way from challenging the NBA's elite. Kevin McHale staring at that stat sheet wondering, can it be this bad? Well, it can, Kevin, because the Pacers play something called defense and the Rockets really don't. Indiana gets anything they really want in a 17-4 run after the break. They add on from there. Lance Stevenson rubbing it in just a little bit. And Paul George finishes that thought. 24 for George and a 33-point Pacers win. Texans coach Wade Phillips wasn't asked about Andre Johnson on Friday, but that didn't keep the team's interim coach from volunteering. What an honor it is to coach a future Hall of Famer. Sunday, Johnson needs just one catch for his 5th 100-catch season. That'll tie Wes Welker for the most all time.
I'm looking forward to him breaking that record and or tying that record and going forward. And then I'm gonna claim him no matter what. I don't know if he'll claim me as a head coach, but I'm gonna claim him when he goes in the Hall of Fame.
After practice, Texans players and coaches delivering bicycles to children from local boys and girls clubs along with the YMCA. This has turned into a great holiday tradition. Andre Johnson remembers when he got a bike for Christmas, he was the guy. It's about the gift, to be sure, but it's also about the smiles for the children and a day that they'll never forget.
It's just as much fun for us players as it is for the kids. Obviously, we're going through a tough year, and this brings a little holiday joy to your life. And like I said earlier in the year, at a time when smiles are tough to come by, today's a day of smiles, and it's a lot of fun.
Merry Christmas to all.
There you go.
What a great day for everybody. This afternoon in Arlington, Pearland taking aim at a second state title in the last 4 seasons. The Oilers have steamrolled to the title game against nationally ranked Allen, thanks to a choice. After losing early in the playoffs last year, the senior class decided they could be like the 2010 title team if they worked hard and worked together.
We went out first round, which has become uncharacteristic for Pearland, and it put a sour taste in here. And those kids, they took on the commitment to try to have the characteristics of that 010 team, and obviously it's shown up to now.
As you watch Gerard Hurd in the 4A Division I title game, you can't help but think Mack Brown finally solved the Longhorns' quarterback issues just in time to leave Austin. Hurd is dominant. He starts 8 for 8 through the air. He accounts for the first 3 touchdowns for Denton Geyer. That's all they need in a big win over San Antonio Brennan. In the 3A Division II finals, Argyle's Ian Sadler taking over in a wild one against Fairfield. This is a 65-yard run on a fake punt. It highlights a 4-touchdown effort in the final minute and change. Argyle's defense with a goal line stand right there to win it. Their first state title, 38-33. Of course, Pearland, Katy, and Brenham all taking aim at state titles. Coming up later today, we'll have complete coverage from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Greg Bailey, 13 Eyewitness Sports.
That's the news for now.
And we'll head it over to Good Morning America for our next hour.